Where to start in the Bible. So I thought of this. I randomly thought of it. You know how the Myers-Briggs type indicator and the Big Five assessment? I thought, what if we could have one of those based off our personalities and which book we should start with? So that's where that idea came from. This is mainly just fun for me. But yeah, let's see. So if you're the type of person that only like sorry, that only likes the main story, that wants to see what the hype is about without even seeing anything else, like let's say you watched Infinity War or Endgame without ever watching any of the other Avengers, or you just watched Deadpool and Wolverine without watching any of the other Deadpools, or you watched season 4 of Attack on Titan without watching the first 3 seasons. The type of book for you is John. Just read John. Perfect. It goes straight into it. I have the book of John over there. It just goes straight into it. It's all you need to read. Or that's at the beginning of your thing. If you read manga or comics, you're kind of a nerd. You might actually read the terms and conditions when they're offered to you, Even if you give it a skim, that's crazy. Let's say you're somebody that watches BTS. Not BTS, but behind the scenes. If you watch behind the scenes of certain things, you know what I recommend for you? Genesis and Matthew. It is the beginning. Both of them are the beginning of the Testament, Old Testament, New Testament. They're the beginning. You're somebody that really wants to see where it all started. If you major in philosophy and you're the type of person that's like, I can read anyone, and oh, I know people's body language. Proverbs. Just Proverbs. If these names you recognize, Emily Dickinson, Edgar Allan Poe, or Maya Angelou, if any of those rings a bell, Psalms. Because it's like poems over there. If you're a fan of anthology, short stories, you just love short stories. You love those, they have the gothic ones, they have the vampire ones, the werewolf ones, any short stories, Jonah, because that is a very short story and it gets straight to the point of what you need to do sometimes. If you skim, you don't read that much, but you're like, I've read the entire book. I mean, I've practically read the entire book, but I'm just gonna skim. I'm a skimmer. You skim an entire book and you're like, all right, I've read it, so good enough for me. Or maybe you go to those wiki pages and you just read the summary on that. The Gospels. I know that's 4 books. That's wild. But it's 4 books that you could be like, okay, I know the Bible. I know the Bible because I've read the Gospels. Yeah. If you're fans of No Longer Human, the book No Longer Human, the artist Mitski, or anything sad and just depressing, and you just enjoy suffering or watching people suffer, Job. The book of Job. Who suffers more than Job? Well, that's actually all I got. But, that was just goofiness over there. If I were to actually go through each of these, I think, yes, I think John is a great, great book to just start in. It is a great book for the entrance of getting really into the Bible because it just goes straight into it. And I know I said that 3 times already, but now I love Genesis and Matthew because they are the beginning of it. I'm personally someone that likes reading from beginning to end and know like all of everything in chronological order. So for me, yes, I love reading Genesis and I enjoy reading and love reading Matthew, of course. And the Gospels just in general. If you ever just are really a beginner to actually reading the Bible, the Gospels, they're 4 books: Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. but they're amazing books, and they teach. If you can just base everything off of those four, goodness gracious, something fell. If you could just base everything off of those four, then you'll be fine, because they just have so much in them. Proverbs, very good. You always hear, I want to be a Proverbs 31 woman. And yeah, that is very true. But be a Proverbs 1 through 30 man. And Psalms. Psalms is so amazing. Psalms, they really are like poems. You have to reflect on them. They're so short. But they have so much in them. You can't just be reading them back and forth in one sitting. You have to take the time. Even if you read a psalm a week, that would be enough to fulfill. Jonah really is such a short story, but it has a lesson that's just like so quick to you, and I think it is cool. And Job was the first book I ever finished. It was actually my first book that I ever finished, and I really liked it because, yeah, I mean, I'm not like what is it, a sadist or anything like that, but I think it is interesting how, yeah, he went through so much, and then how the outcome came about. And that he still believed and never was like anything. He still continued believing in God through it all. So, I just had to go back, re explain, because it's worth it. And if you really wanted to start to really get into the Bible, I suggest that you would pray before you get into it. Pray and ask for, I guess, wisdom or something along those lines. Just pray for whatever comes out and whatever means something to you. And when you read, also look for anything that you can relate to or that you can apply to your life. Now, yes, you can ask for understanding as well. Now, once you're done with a chapter or subsection or even a verse, even if you read a verse and you're like, that was a killer verse, you can reflect, you can apply it to your life. So, in this order, you would pray, you would ask, you would read, you would reflect, and then you would apply. And that's just a good way, and you would repeat that over and over each time you do like a Bible study. That's if you're doing Bible studies. But if you're not, and you just want to read and you just want to get through them, that's totally okay, because it's still such a great story. There's no perfect way to read the Bible is what I'm saying. People will tell you, oh, start there, start there. You can start anywhere because there's wisdom in each, and there's good story that you could still apply to your life. Someone be careful though. There's no correct way of anything. You want to come to the Bible with wanting to understand and wanting to really deepen your faith. Really pick up the things that apply to you. You can listen to people, explain this, but you should read it and you should actually come up with your own understandings instead of having people come up with their understandings. And yeah, I mean, even if you're new, yes, it would be good for people who are, have higher intelligence in this type of matter, biblically. But also, at the end of the day, it really does come down to what you're understanding and what you're taking out of it every time you read. And even if you read the Bible, it's simply just a good book. Like, it has some amazing stories in them. So yeah, you'll get wisdom, you'll make your faith stronger, and you'll have one heck of a good read. I mean, who doesn't want that? But yeah, so where to start in the Bible? Just start. That's it. Just start in the Bible. That's where you start. You just pick up the Bible, you choose, and you read. Okay, well, that's all I got. Yeah. Take care.